Hey everyone, welcome back to Behind the Grape. Today we are going to head down to beautiful Niagara on the Lake, and in particular to the Niagara Lakeshore sub-appellation, and we're going to look at the Lep Davids Vineyard Adamo Estates Riesling. Adamo Estates I've been dabbling with on and off for a number of years. I was first introduced to them by Howard Wasserman of then B&W Wines. He was representing them when they first came in, and full disclosure, I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with them. And I don't mean hate in terms of such strong a word. It's I've always found vintage to vintage when they were younger. Some vintages I was like, wow, this is amazing, and others I just couldn't quite get there. But I want to support them because they're local, so I wanted to get back at it and try the Riesling. And full disclosure, this will be the very first time that I've looked at this Riesling. 2017 vintage from the David's Vineyard at the Niagara Lakeshore. So it sits up in these beautiful sun-basked vineyards overlooking Toronto, overlooking the lake. They get the moderate influencing factors from Lake Ontario all throughout the summer, which is phenomenal. If you ever get up there and you just stand out there, especially on a nice windy day, you just feel those warm breezes coming across the vineyards. It's really outstanding. And then you look up and there's the hawks. It's stunning. Adamo Estates not only are in the wine business, but they're in the hospitality business. So that's also near and dear to my heart. They own Hockley Valley Resort, just outside of Toronto, up in Orangeville, and they're known for their hospitality, and they have a pretty great extension of back library vintages of all their wines. Now they haven't been around for a long time, but they are cataloging these wines, and if you ever get up there, look for a fine young gentleman, Pratik Nair, who looks after their program. He can walk you through what they've got up there and have some fun. They grow so many different varietals. In fact, they're dabbling around with a Lacadie 7, I believe, which typically you see in Tidal Bay, but I guess they're playing around with it as well. So it's exciting, it's interesting, it's different. When I think of Niagara wines, I think of four single varietals that I think we should hang our hats on, and that's Riesling, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Cabernet Franc. We grow lots of others, and they're very good, but those are the single varietals that I think are the best for the region. Riesling, to me, when well made, is such a delicious wine. You know, you get a little bit of sweetness. Sometimes it's really bone dry, which is also an interesting flavor profile. But they tend to be dangerous wines because they tend to be lower in alcohol. So one glass is two, two is three, three is the second bottle, and so on and so on. You get where I'm going. Great patio wines, and let's be honest, what are we doing these days in COVID? We're sitting on patios. Now, you're probably not having a lot of Riesling in this temperatures that we're having here in Toronto right now, but it is a great patio wine, or just a great wine to have in your fridge at home to sip on, because it's so versatile that it's great with food, but it's just really great and delicious to drink on its own. So let's look at it. Oh, beautiful golden color, really clean, translucent. The nose is really vibrant, very expressive, and right away is that classic Riesling, that lemon pith, lime pith, and juice, the juice of a fresh squeezed lemon and lime. There's a little bit of that candied green apple skin and core. Excuse me. I also get a little bit of guava in there, that sweet tropical fruit. There's some white delicate lilies and baby's breath. A little bit of stone. I mean, this is really grown on mostly loam soil, so it has a really great drainage. So that water can really get down into the vines and then help feed the grapes. There's no oak. This, again, it's stainless steel fermented. That way, you capture those great essence of the magicalness of Riesling on what it is. Let's taste it. Great Riesling. Again, pith and juice of the lemon and the lime. Green apple skin, almost candied now. That candied guava. Picking up that classic Riesling note of kerosene, that little bit of diesel. It's delicious. I call this an off-dry wine because there's residual sugar here for sure, which just adds a little bit of body and weight to the wine for me. It makes it even more food friendly. It's got great balance, it's got great weight. I wouldn't say it's overly complex. I mean, it's got all the classic markers of Riesling, but it's not too much so. What I'm enjoying about this wine is the acidity is very present. And I mean, it is a high acid wine, as most Rieslings are. But I was speaking to someone today who was familiar with this wine, and they said, "Oh, it's not really the best example of this wine because it's just overly acidic and just overpowers everything." I would disagree. I think the acid is just perfect on this wine, and it's complemented by that ripe fruit and the balance and the structure of the wine. So it's there. It's a marker. It's what I want in my Riesling. I want that acidity to drive me back for another glass, but it's not off-putting. It's a really well made and well balanced wine. Because with the sweetness, I take like a little charred apricot or charred peach, put that into a salad with a lemon lime vinaigrette. I would do this even. I would take a roulade of pork, and I would actually soak it in maybe like a little Tokai for that sweetness, and bake that off and put that over a risotto. So the creaminess of the risotto, the sweetness now in the pork from the Tokai, and this fantastic Riesling, be delicious. Or I'd sit on my couch, I'd grab some brie, I'd grab a little bit of blue cheese, Blue Elizabeth, some Ace baguettes, and I just sit and eat on some soft cheese and this delicious wine. 2017 vintage, holding up really well. We're going into 2020. It's now available by Nicholas Pearce. I know you've heard me talk about Nicholas Pearce in the past, one of the preeminent gentlemen of wine. It's $19.95. You can also find it in the vintages section of the LCBO. So if you want to support local and also support a hospitality business, and you're a big fan of Riesling, give this a try. Maybe put it up with a Taz or a Stratus, something along those lines, and see where you think it ranks. I think it holds its own. I think it's a great example of Niagara Riesling, and we should be supporting local as much as possible. So $19.95, either through Nicholas Pearce Wines or the LCBO, Adamo Estates, up at Hockley Valley. Don't forget, if you go up there, look for Pratik Nair, and he'll give you a great tour of all the other wines that they have. Have a great night, everyone.